Larry Carlton. Glad you're with me. Today I'm going to share with you the answers to some of the most asked questions. But first, let's tune up. Let me give you an E and we'll all get in tune together. Here's my E. Now the B. G. And the D. A. And the low E. Okay, let us begin. I thought what we might start with was I want to give you some demonstrations of how to play different styles of guitar playing on the same style of background music. And what I've chosen is one of my songs, Smiles and Smiles to Go, which is probably familiar to a lot of you. And I'll play it first the way I played it on the record. This is the normal Larry Carlton approach to playing a solo over Smiles and Smiles to Go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that sounds like me. It's kind of got a little double time feel to it, which is the bebop that I listened to earlier, but not a lot of altered changes. I stayed pretty much within the structure of harmonically what was going on. But if I was playing on a date for someone else, or I was in a band and they said, I don't like that style you were playing, but we want to play that song, I want to give you a few ideas and a few other approaches you might try. So this one I'm going to play a little more rhythmic and not so many single notes, so it won't sound quite so jazzy. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, whole different solo approach to the same background on the same tune. I want to do one more for you now while I have the acoustic guitar in my hand. And what's going to happen is Terry Trotter is playing piano today. I will introduce you to him in a second. He's going to play the melody, which is built into the keyboard part, and I'm going to just play fills around that. Like he was the singer and that was the band, and it's not my solo, but they want the acoustic guitar to be featured. 1, 2, 3. Okay, obviously the idea is for me to allow the melody to be heard by Terry, but still be involved and play in the holes. I tried to pick the spots where the melody had completed its phrase, ba-da-ba-bum-bum, and then I would play a little answer to that. So I think that's 3 good examples of how to play different approaches against the exact same part, but I have a couple of more for you to listen to, but I want to switch to the electric guitar, so let me do that right now. Okay, smiles and smiles to go. Different solo approach. If you're a jazzer or a wannabe jazzer like myself, maybe you want to try a bebop approach to the same kind of tune. So I'll do my best to give you a one-chorus example of how possibly a bebop guitar player, or if the producer asked you to be a bebop guitar player, how he might sound on these same changes. 1, 2, 1. Okay, we had a few more altered notes in there. We substituted a few changes. It works. And I guess the whole point of this is versatility is cool and your style is cool if you want to play it against somebody else's music. I want to do one more example for you. I always like to think about B.B. King or a great blues player like that having to play on one of my tunes that was this big of a success for me. So let me change the sound a little bit. Terry, you play the same thing, and I'll just play blues licks over the same kind of major 7th chords, just to show you it can be done. 1, 2, 1. Kind of wish I had cut the tune that way. That was kind of fun. Anyway, I hope that helps a little bit and opens some doors for you. And before we continue on, I think this would be a good time to at least let you say hi. Great friend of mine and a good support, Terry. This is Mr. Terry Trotter. Thank you for being here, buddy. Appreciate the help. Next, I thought we might discuss a little bit about my sound and the dynamic range that I try to play within. It really opens up a lot of avenues for me to create. And I wanted to just give you an example of my clean sound on my guitar, where it starts, and then after that I'll show you how much distortion or overdrive I use, just as reference. This is my clean sound on the guitar. So it's pretty clean. You can hear the range of the notes. They're all clear. That's my clean sound. And part of my overdrive sound, before I push any buttons, this is just the sound of my guitar through my Dumble amp with no effect and no overdrive system on. I'll start softly so your ear can hear the difference. It should start fairly clean, and the harder I play, it should start to sound more aggressive. I've been using that kind of dynamic range since the early 70s. I've never used a distortion pedal. I've always set the amp so that at the hardest I hit it, it will respond. The tubes will crunch, the speaker will crunch a little bit, but as soon as I play softer or back off on my volume pedal, it's clean again. That's been the most comfortable way for me to do it, as opposed to having a bunch of pedals and go from very clean to very dirty all at once. But I do want to show you what happens. I have an overdrive system that is built into my Dumble amp, and I'll show you the difference in that tone, but it does respond the same. It's fairly clean and gets more distorted as I go. I can almost play my cleanest feeling things with the distortion part in if I just back off on my volume pedal a little bit, but then it's ready for me to play a lick, and if I want that lick to have distortion, it's there. So that's part of my sound, and I think using the dynamics, because I have them available to me, is part of what you like and I like about my playing. It's not all one level. I think Terry and I will play just 16 bars of a slow blues, and I will exaggerate the dynamics, the loud to the soft part. We'll do this one in the key of B flat, Terry. Nice slow blues on 1, 2, 3. That sounds like dynamics to me, and I use them a lot, so I hope that's good input for you. When I play over a ballad, I like to use a lot of long tones. For me, that's emotion. And in order to do that, you have to harmonically know what's going on, so you can use a lot of common tones, which means I don't have to move my note even though the chords are changing. And we're going to play a 1-6-2-5 progression in the key of G. That'll be G, E minor, A minor, D. And I'm going to give you an example of how I can just stay on one note and have it sound musical, although the changes are moving, the chords are moving. My note choices can be very simple. 1, 2, 3. Obviously, I chose D as the common tone against that progression, and it all works. but there are many more to choose from. I'm just going to ad-lib one now. I don't know what I'm going to play, but I'm still going to play long style, but it'll be common to the note of the chord that Terry's either playing, or it will be common to the note that Terry's going to, which can sometimes cause a lot of interest too. Let's do that once more, Terry. 1, 2, 3. Okay, lots of long tones, but they all sound good against the chords. That's the main thing I try to accomplish when I'm playing slowly. And what I started to do toward the end of that chorus there was I started to imitate myself on a little melody. And again, that's a little trademark of mine. You'll hear me make a musical statement, and then I'll imitate that musical statement, possibly fragment off of that, imitate it a little more. Pretty soon my solo sounds like I made up a little song. I'd like to do that one more time for you as an example. And once you get to doing this, it's really fun because you can take very little information and make a song out of it. 1, 2, 3. I'm pleased with that. That's a good example of hearing a phrase, hearing it in its different form, but so familiar that you tie the two together. Very characteristic of my playing. What I want to do now is have Terry play melody, and me as a sideman have to play answers to him so that we sound like we're playing the same song. And the idea of this is for you to listen to the guys you're playing with, and they will have enough respect for you and you for them that they'll leave holes trusting that you're going to play the right thing in those holes. So Terry, you play a melody.